Welcome to Gospel Greetings number 69. Last week we talked about an audience of one from Nehemiah 13, where he said to God, "Remember what I've so faithfully done for you in your house. Show mercy to me according to your great love, and remember me with favor, O God." He had an audience of one. This week we will be discussing rest from Hebrews 4, 9 to 11, where it says, "There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from his own work, just as God did from his. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest." Rest, so elusive for so many of us. It's the first week of August, and many of you have had or are taking vacation, and that's great. But I've noticed in our leader impact groups that many struggle with rest. We seem to like the idea of rest, but have difficulty entering into the Sabbath rest promised by God. Like one of our successful business leaders who had been working hard for several years as his business grew. This meant many late nights, interrupted sleep with worrying, and of course, very little or no vacation. Then he had an incident and ended up at the Heart Institute. When he came back to the group, he had several handouts they had given him on how to reduce stress, how to sleep better, and how to rest. These handouts were very helpful for the group, and we realized that several laid awake at night worrying about upcoming jobs, staffing, materials, etc. And this may not be you, and if not, thank God. But getting away and actually resting from your work may still be a problem for you. Yet there remains a Sabbath rest for all of us, and we have a part to play. Our part is from verse 11, which says, "Make every effort to enter that rest." Making every effort means planning and preparing for rest. Wait, you might say, I have to work to rest? Well, yes, and this is the problem. To really have rest, we must first of all plan to rest. In the strategic coach program that I had been in years ago, the coach, Dan Sullivan, made you do two radical things at the very beginning. Number one, take one day off a week. No work, no phones, no email, nothing. Number two, plan 4 weeks of vacation with your wife a year in advance. The idea was to have at least 1 week off a quarter. The wives liked that part very much. Then every 12 weeks, you knew you had a week off coming up. The idea was to refill the creativity and energy tank so that you were operating from fullness and overflow instead of always running on empty and then getting just enough rest to get you back to minimal energy. Interestingly, people in the program who took the time off reported significant profitability improvements as well as much better family harmony. And it's funny, the guys who refused to take a day off a week and refused to plan vacations had a sickness that Dan Sullivan called the Messiah complex. Yeah, like you're so important to your company and so important to the world that it just can't operate without you. But God has promised us his rest as a gift of peace, renewal, and revitalization. And in verse 2 of chapter 4, it says that ancient Israel did not enter their rest because of unbelief. You see, hearing this message must be combined with faith. Faith that God is capable. Faith that God can watch over your organization when you're gone. Faith that the world won't pass you by when you take your weekly day off. Will you make the effort to receive the gift of rest by faith this week?